Hi, everyone. I'm back. So I want to take a look at the second aspect that I wanted to look at today, and that's the square between Uranus and Mars. It is a crisis in action square. Uranus is explosive. Mars is can be aggressive, penetrating, pointy, and it's in Leo, so it's especially pointy. All right, let's take a look. This one won't be as verbose as the last. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we have a first quarter square between Mars and Uranus. First quarter squares are crisis and action squares. This is the first uh, challenging aspect, or the most challenging aspect since the initial conjunction. Now, I do have the initial conjunction. Cycles with Mars are 2 years long. It's sort of a biennial cycle with Mars. And this cycle began back on July 15th, 2024. It was a 30/3 day. We can see this is the tarot card associated with it. And it occurred at 27 degrees of Taurus. Um, an old native woman selling beads, the wisdom of an elder. As youth fades, we become less assertive of self and more willing to adapt to collective ways and needs. Calm wisdom that grows with age. Okay. Every time there's a conjunction, I look to see what sign it's in, and then the ruler of that sign, I always look at that as well, because it gives us a general sort of sense about sort of another layer to this synodic cycle. Now, the synodic cycle between Uranus and Mars, Uranus is awakening and Mars is activating. It acts as an activator, almost like a catalyst in a chemical in a chemical reaction. So it irritates. It initiates. Mars wants to get going, right? They want to start put up your dukes. That's Mars, right? So there's going to be like a general like sense. Okay, so the ruler of Taurus is Venus, and Venus was at 5 degrees of Leo at the time of this conjunction. And it says a rock formation at the edge of a precipice, geological perspective. It says compared to nature's scope, oops, sorry about that. Compared to nature's scope in space and time, we are puny and, and momentary. We are encouraged to reconsider self-importance. Okay. Well, I do want to point out that this conjunction happened 2 days after the first attempt on the Republican nominee for the presidential election, right? Um, old 45, old 45. Um, and so with that in mind, right, we look at this symbol and it talks about wisdom of age, and it also talks about reconsidering self-importance. Well, I'm not so sure how well he did on that one. But this was also the time that we that Joe Biden, right, stepped down from it wasn't long after that, right? He stepped down and Kamala took over. I don't think she had done that. They had done that yet at this point. I'm trying to remember. Everything happens. Leash. Um, and this particular conjunction was conjunct Algol, which was square Donald Trump's Mars, hence the assassination attempt, and opposing Joe Biden's Sun and Mercury, a uh, a fall from power, a fall from pay. Pretty much that's when he stepped down, or energetically stepped down. because of pressure, right? Social pressure, perhaps. Taurus, Venus ruled. Leo, can he lead? Does he have everything he needs to lead, right? Lead. So now, these synodic cycles are 2 years long, and it's almost been a year, and we're actually only a quarter away through the cycle, right? We're at 90 degrees. Well, the reason for that is because Mars was retrograde. I went in the wrong direction. Sorry about that. Mars was retrograde, and so it spent a lot of time in that first sort of quarter of the chart from the new moon or the new conjunction to this square. And so there's been a lot of frustration. There's been a lot of anger, a lot of fomenting, and then Mars was retrograde. We felt like we couldn't move forward. We didn't feel like we had agency when it was in Leo. It moved into Cancer. Then we really felt like we were kind of a C. But then Mars went direct and then started moving forward. But in that moving forward, when Mars finally did move forward and move, I believe that was when you started seeing the first, um, what do you call that? It was in February. You started seeing the first town halls and different things like that, where the Republicans were getting lambasted and the people were really pissed off, and they were and that hasn't changed. That has increased, as we saw on this square, right, yesterday, when there were hundreds and thousands and probably millions of people out on the street for the No Kings rally, and very few people for the parade and the birthday celebration. Although I'm not so sure how interested he was to have people. He's more interested in the people who financially back him to be at that military parade. Um, so we have this first quarter square now. It's a crisis in action, but notice that the vibration of the day is the same vibration as it was at the conjunction. It just happened to work out that way. The Four of Wands is about making commitments. It's a marriage card. In fact, in this picture, we have a hand fasting happening, where you bind yourself to others, right? For the collective good. So we can sort of see the energy of this conjunction, which is normally something most people are like, oh no, this could be terrible. And it has been terrible. It's been terrible in Israel. It's been terrible in Iran. It's been terrible in Minnesota. Um, it's been terrible in LA. There's been, difficult places. There's, in Ukraine, a lot of sort of active war zone kind of thing. So we see the disruption, and we see the devastation that this kind of aspect can cause, but it drives us. It doesn't, aspects in their own nature are not evil or good. It's an energy. It's up to us what we do with the energy as it comes towards us, or as we're experiencing it. And so in a way, this is to propel us to wake up. And Uranus wants to wake us up, and uh, it's in the initial conjunction in Taurus, says, wake up to what's going on, what's real, what's going on in the world, what's going on Mother Earth. These are the things that we need to pay attention to, right? Okay, so we have Mars at 29 degrees of Leo, and it says motivation to manifest dreams. The symbol is a mermaid. Creativity contains the poignant feeling of uncertainty, whether divine inspiration will be successfully given form or die away. So this energy could dissipate, and you could do nothing with it. I wouldn't suggest it, because this is an opportunity. Well, actually, it will dissipate, but it will create chaos all the same. Um, Responding excitedly to the creative impulse. And so there is this great, and of course it's Leo, right? And Mars has been, he had his retrograde started in Leo, moved into Cancer, and then came out of Cancer into Leo, and now is about ready to leave. Mars is going to be leaving and going into Virgo later this week. So, and then there's a shift, right? Then there's a shift. Remember, I just want to point out that Mars disposits Neptune and Saturn as well because they're in Aries now. So this is sort of my way of the highway. This is General Buckenbach right here, right? And so that's influencing. But once it goes into Virgo, the energy changes, right? The energy shifts a little bit, and these two planets will express themselves differently than they are right now. Okay. So this is square. Mars is square Uranus at 29 degrees of Taurus. Two cobblers working at a table, respecting other points of view. Oh, wow. How about that? Understanding someone else's way of being and seeing life requires more objectivity about our own opinions and beliefs, respecting others' ways of being and doing. So this is, in a way, pointing to us, despite our differences, and despite our perspectives, to sort of still motivate us to manifest the dream, to have the vision that we need to have to move into the future. So this is it's no joke, challenging time, um, painful for many. What happened in Minnesota was heartbreaking and devastating, and that state will never be the same, nor will the people who knew her. But sometimes those are the kinds of things that make people want to fight harder for what is right. Um, and so let's fight harder for what is right. Let's reach out. Even if we don't agree on everything, we really do have to find some common ground here. Because I'll tell you right now, the people in power don't give a shit about anybody. They don't give a shit about me or you who might be anti people in power, and they don't give a shit about the people who adore them. They only care about themselves. And Pluto's in Aquarius, and that ain't going to fly. That's all I'm saying. All right, guys. Hopefully you got something out of this again. This is, I just wanted to do this because it's a pretty important aspect. And perhaps I can maybe help you understand the shit show that just happened. Um, take care of yourselves, please. Be careful. This energy is around for a while. Nothing really slows down. So uh, again, it doesn't mean that there's going to be disaster around every corner, but we still have to be aware of our environment. We have to know what's going on. And together we're going to recreate. This is an opportunity for us to create a country in the case of America and a world in the case of all of us living on this small little planet that's livable and lovable, instead of just suffering and death and destruction. It's time to start building things instead of destroying them. So let's see how we do. All right, I'll see you again soon. Take care of yourselves. I will be putting out a video for the week ahead, but that probably won't happen until tomorrow. Okay, take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Be careful out there. Namaste.